I'm getting ready to make you a love offer, but I honestly don't know if you'll accept it, and maybe that is the most vulnerable thing anyone can ever admit when feelings become real, because offering someone your heart is not like offering them something that can simply be returned if they don't like it. Love carries pieces of our memories, our fears, our hopes, our insecurities, and the quiet dreams we rarely share with anyone. So when someone finally decides to say, "I want you," there is always another question hiding behind those words. Will you want me too? Maybe you have wondered whether someone around you has feelings they haven't expressed, whether their unusual attention, their silence, their nervousness, or the way they somehow keep finding reasons to stay connected means something deeper, and perhaps this message is reaching you at exactly the moment when your heart needs to hear it, because sometimes love does not arrive with dramatic announcements. Sometimes it begins with a person quietly realizing that your presence has become important to them, that conversations with you feel different, that your absence is noticed, and that somewhere along the way, you stopped being just another person and became someone they could imagine building something meaningful with. But before making any offer of love, there is something emotionally important to understand. A genuine love offer should never be a demand for acceptance. It should be an honest invitation. There is a huge difference between saying, "You have to love me," and saying, "I care about you deeply, and if your heart feels the same, I would like to explore what we could become together." Healthy love leaves room for choice. It does not trap, pressure, manipulate, threaten, or emotionally bargain with another person. It gives them the freedom to say yes, no, or even "I need time," because real affection respects the person it is directed toward. And perhaps that is why this person is nervous about approaching you. They may have imagined the conversation countless times in their mind, thinking about what they should say, how they should say it, and what your reaction might be. They may have rehearsed the words and then abandoned them. They may have typed a message and deleted it. They may have wanted to tell you something meaningful but became afraid that honesty could change the relationship you already have. Because rejection is not simply the fear of hearing the word no, sometimes people fear losing the connection altogether. They wonder, what if I tell them how I feel and everything becomes awkward afterward? What if they don't see me the way I see them? What if I have misunderstood everything? What if my heart is ready but theirs isn't? These questions are incredibly human, and they reveal something important about emotional vulnerability. The closer something is to our heart, the more frightening it becomes to expose it. We can be confident in many areas of life and still become nervous when it comes to love, because love touches parts of us that logic cannot completely protect. You can prepare for an exam, a business meeting, a presentation, or an important conversation, but you cannot prepare another person's heart to respond exactly the way you hope. That uncertainty is what makes love both beautiful and frightening. And maybe the person preparing to make this offer has spent a long time observing not just your appearance, but your character. Maybe they noticed how you treat people when you have nothing to gain from them. Maybe they noticed how you listen when someone is speaking. Maybe they noticed your kindness when nobody was watching. Maybe they noticed the way you carry yourself after difficult days, the way you continue moving forward even when life doesn't make things easy. Because physical attraction can begin a connection, but emotional admiration is often what makes someone seriously consider staying. When someone starts thinking about offering you something deeper, they may no longer be asking, "Am I attracted to this person?" They may be asking, "Can I trust this person? Can I communicate with this person? Can I feel emotionally safe around them? Can we grow together? Can we handle conflict without destroying each other? Can we support one another without losing ourselves?" These questions matter because love is not simply a powerful emotion. It is also a psychological and emotional responsibility. Attraction can happen in seconds, but healthy attachment develops through consistency, trust, communication, respect, and shared experiences. Sometimes people confuse intensity with love. They believe that because someone makes their heart race, the relationship must be extraordinary. But emotional intensity is not always emotional compatibility. A person can make you feel butterflies and still be completely wrong for your long-term peace. Another person may make you feel calm, understood, respected, and secure, and that calmness can initially feel less dramatic, but it may actually be the foundation of something much healthier. Love does not always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like relief. Sometimes it feels like being able to speak without rehearsing every sentence. Sometimes it feels like knowing that you don't have to perform a version of yourself just to remain desirable. Sometimes love is simply being able to say, "This is who I am," and hearing, "I see you, and I still choose to understand you." So if someone is preparing to make you a love offer, perhaps what they are really preparing to offer is not merely romance. They may be preparing to offer their time, attention, loyalty, emotional presence, patience, companionship, and willingness to grow. But they may also be carrying fear because they know that once the words are spoken, things may never feel exactly the same again. There is courage in admitting feelings, but there is also courage in accepting that the other person gets to choose. This is where emotional maturity becomes essential. Mature love does not say, "I have loved you, therefore you owe me love." Mature love says, "I have feelings for you, and I respect whatever is true inside your heart." That distinction can completely transform the meaning of a love confession. If you are the person receiving such an offer, you do not have to answer immediately simply because someone has gathered the courage to approach you. Their courage deserves respect, but your feelings deserve respect too. You are allowed to take time. You are allowed to think. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to discover whether what they are offering matches what you genuinely want. Sometimes people say yes because they feel guilty saying no. Sometimes they accept love because they are afraid of hurting someone. Sometimes they confuse being wanted with being compatible. But a relationship built on guilt eventually becomes emotionally